let's jump into this chat. So this isn't necessarily music related, but I wanted to talk about it because I felt like as creators and people who have, risen within what we do, like this is something that we can relate to. So Michael B. Jordan is on the red carpet at the Creed 3 premiere, and he runs into this interviewer who he actually went to high school with. And she asks him some question, and he says, like, oh, something about, like, am I still corny or something? And for context, for those who aren't familiar, the interviewer, her name was Laurel. She went on some podcast, and the person that she was talking to, Dominique the Diva, had called Michael B. Jordan corny, a very nice corny guy. They were talking about his relationship with Lori Harvey. So he remembered that. And so he runs into this woman, and he brings up how she called him corny. And she was like, oh, no, you're misquoting me. He was like, no, I heard it. And then they kind of just finished the interview. Like, things kind of went fine. But the internet went ablaze about it. Like, some people thought he was being rude to her. Some people thought he was justified in how he felt. Like, were you aware of that situation? Well, what did you think about the whole corny Michael B. Jordan discourse?
I was aware of it. I didn't think I think people on the internet love taking any moment and just like making a whole entire thing out of it and everyone choosing sides. So when I actually went and did my research and saw what happened, I was like, I feel like this is a very small deal. It's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, if you're going to go on a podcast and call someone corny, you have to be ready for them to pull out the receipts and be like, you called me corny. But also, Michael B. Jordan is one of the most famous people in the world. He gets a lot of criticisms, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's a lot of people on a lot of podcasts talking shit about Michael B. Jordan. So I think it was a funny moment. I think the internet just made it way more than it needed to be.
Yeah, people were spilling out their whole lives, oh, people called me corny in high school. I remember that. I'm hanging on to that. And, I think that really speaks to them, and kind of you have to move on from that. I know for me personally, when I was in high school, there were people who didn't treat me the best. And I've actually had conversations with some of them recently where they've apologized to me for bullying me in high school. And I was like, well, you didn't have to do that. But thank you for growing up and kind of acknowledging that. A lot of us in high school, whether it was our mindsets, things we did to people, we weren't our best selves in high school. We're going through puberty, we're growing, we're trying to figure out college and pimples and shit. We're just dealing with a lot of different shit. So we're not our best selves, but the projection from people on the internet about the situation was kind of a bit too much. I don't think you should be holding on. And granted, some people go through some traumatic shit in high school, and that stuff sticks with you. For me personally, and I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious, I didn't get any superlatives in my high school yearbook, and I was pretty pissed about that. I played sports, I was in the chorus, I was pretty cool. I was like, I can't get best personality or funny or something like that, but I don't care that much. Maybe. But besides that, it's and I'm only speaking for myself, but I don't really hold on to things like that because I don't know, it's just weird to move through life thinking about your haters or your naysayers. And while it's natural, it's just that's kind of the wrong fuel to put into yourself. I'm not doing what I do to shit on people I went to high school with, but I do what I do because I love it. And so holding on to that stuff and letting it be a battery in your back was just it was a really weird part of this discourse. It went on too long. It was a week of this conversation. I was like, yo, are y'all serious? Joe Budden had a whole rant about him, and everyone was saying he was mistreating the woman. He was joking with her, to be honest, from what I saw. So.
Yeah, he was just being silly. I mean, bullying is a super real thing, and who knows? Michael B. Jordan maybe had issues with bullying in school that we didn't know about, and that might have struck a chord with him that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
But, again, I just think it was made way bigger of a deal than it needed to be.
Yeah.
It was kind of silly. And I mean, maybe corny doesn't have to be the meanest thing. What was the context in which they really meant corny? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, discourse is it's just too much. Find something to do. Go outside. I promise you, if you go to a bar, no one's talking about this thing.
Literally, worry about your own life. Also, the news does not need to be covering this. This is really not. This is not the most important thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna talk shit about someone on a podcast or call them something and they pull the receipts on you, don't be surprised.
Be ready for that. You got to.